Welcome. In front of me is a Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device itself. So let's just get straight into the box. Okay, so now that I got everything out of the package, let's get a look at it. So we do have a 120 watt charger, insane, which is provided with the device in the box. Samsung, look at this, that's how you're supposed to do it, and also the wattages that you're supposed to provide us with. Then we get a Type A to Type C charging cable, and obviously the phone along with a gray silicone case. I like the inclusion of a gray case instead of the typical clear ones. Clear ones get just kind of nasty after some time. They become yellowish and disgusting. Sorry for the noise if it's being picked up. Anyway, you can just test fit it to see how it looks like on the device. Now it does have this basically like a bezel around it that I can literally grab, so it's designed to protect the cameras. You plop it on. One more additional thing that it does is it basically removes the wobble from the device because it becomes even, kind of like the visors on the Pixels. Now this only applies with the case. Without it, and it's no longer the same thing. Now, taking it off and actually booting it up, which I haven't done yet. So, how's it booting up? Let's talk about the display. So this is a 6.67 inch display running a resolution of 1220 by 2712 pixels, so a little bit over 1080p. So you might have you will have a sharper display compared to like any kind of 1080p display, because it is boasting about a 440 pixels per inch. So the display right here will be really sharp. It's also an AMOLED display, boasting 120 Hz refresh rate, Dolby Vision, HDR10 Plus certification, along with a peak brightness of 1800 nits. So it can get relatively bright. Continuing on, it is covered with a Cornell Gorilla Glass Victus, and boasts a 89, almost 90% screen to body ratio. Though I will be honest, with this curved display, it supposedly has the same, but I think the same or roughly maybe like by couple maybe percent difference screen to body ratio compared to the non-plus version of it, but the flat display on the non-plus version makes it seem like the screen to body ratio is better on that device compared to this one, which is a bit odd. Now let's finish this up. There we go. Okay, so while this is preparing system, I'm gonna flip it over to the back where we can get to see the cameras. And the main sensor right here is a whopping 200 megapixel wide sensor with optical limit stabilization, PDAF, or multi-directional PDAF. Then we got an 8 megapixel 120 degree ultra wide lens and a 2 megapixel sticker camera, which is a macro lens. Now I think despise companies adding these kind of trash cameras just because they are absolutely useless. And just to kind of give you an understanding of this, the 200 megapixels can capture significantly better photos than this one at the specific task that this camera is designed for. Hell, even a 50 megapixel wide sensor will do a better job than the macro lens at capturing macro photos. So if a 50 can do a better job than this one, imagine what 4 times higher megapixel sensor can do. That being said, sometimes higher megapixel count on the sensor doesn't equate to better photos, but let's be honest, any kind of phone that I have tested with the 50 megapixel sensor captures better photos than the 2 megapixel macro, no matter the price range. So therefore 200 will most certainly be the same case. So like I said, absolutely useless camera, and honestly I just can't fathom why companies keep doing this. They keep adding these garbage ass lenses, while they serve no purpose outside of just adding the number to round up that it's a triple camera setup. It's in reality dual camera setup because you will never use that garbage. Now, continuing on to something that I find interesting here. So by the looks of it, the back right here is kind of looking like it's a matte finish, at least in this area. It's not, it's fully glass. As you can see, it's fully reflective. It's just kind of different shade, and it is glass. I do want to point that out as well. So it does add a little bit of a premium feeling. It's also rounded on the ends right here for a bit more comfortable hold on a device. And obviously the front display right here is also coming with the rounded edges, so that's pretty nice, especially if you like the, well, this kind of, curved display design. I know that not everyone does, so I am pointing that out. I am on the side that does like it, specifically for gesture navigation, just makes it feel so much nicer. Though maybe not with the screen protector that kind of catches your finger. Now, anyway, continuing on. Let's talk about the internals now. So this device comes with a 5000 mAh battery, which is just a typical battery size for a phone like this. What isn't typical is the brick that comes with it that will charge your device to 100% in as little as 19 minutes, which is advertised. Now, that being said, when it compares to something like Samsung's devices that cost, what is it, like 5 times more? There we go, there's one. That's my daily driver that I completely overpaid. It's a piece of shit, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, and it also doesn't work too well anymore, and it's not even 2 years old. But in any case, that device in 19 minutes might just get like 20% battery. This in 19 minutes gets me fully charged. Fantastic. So I just want to always find an opportunity to crap on Samsung and their garbage phones, which I did buy into. Anyway, continuing on. Battery wise, it's fantastic here. Let's talk about the internals in terms of the processor. And this device comes with a Dimensity 7200 Ultra. So this is basically a Snapdragon 7, like what, Gen 2 equivalent. It's not going to be the super fast device, but obviously it's going to be relatively good enough to do literally everything that you will need it to, along with gaming as well. I'm pretty sure you can play something like Genshin Impact on here. I'm picking that out of the bunch of the games just because it's one of the more demanding titles in terms of graphics, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go through this. Might not be running at 60 frames full, like maxed settings, but 30 frames should be sustainable on here without much of a problem, I would presume. So that's one. Also, at the very base version of this device, it will come with 256 gigabytes of storage with 8 gigs of RAM, and as a base starting version of this device, it's already a great starting point. 8 gigs is sufficient enough for a phone like this, and 256 gigs of storage is also great. Now, let's see if I can actually find my little SIM ejector. I have one right here, assuming it will fit, and it does. Great. Let's pop out that tray. Now, as you can see, there is no expandable storage, so if you need more than 256 gigs of storage, you can go for a higher end model, but you won't be able to pop in an SD card in here. Now, the device goes all the way up to half a terabyte with 16 gigs of RAM, with anything between like 12 gigs to 56 and 8, half a terabyte, 12 gigs and half a terabyte. So they literally covered every single scenario of RAM and storage versions, which is pretty good. And that being said, all these storages are using storage type UFS 3.1, so not the newest one, not the fastest one, but still should be good enough. And last thing that I didn't mention is the build right here. So obviously we have a glass front, which is Gorilla Glass Victus. Then we get a glass back, which it doesn't really say what kind of glass. There's also an option for polymer silicone back, which is the eco leather version of this device. Obviously that's not it. And the frame right here looks to be aluminum. And then going around, we have volume rockers on the side right here, along with the power button. Now this is just a power button. Fingerprint sensor is under the display. Then at the bottom, we have our speakers, charging port Type-C, our dual SIM tray, microphone. Then on the left side, absolutely nothing. And on the top side, we get more microphones, I presume a bit of a speaker, another something, I guess, more microphones, whatever. Possibly not. So I'm not necessarily sure what that is, but the last thing right here, the one that shines, is an IR blaster, allowing you to control any kind of appliance that uses a IR remote control. So this is actually a pretty handy thing to have, especially if you, for instance, tend to travel. You'll probably find a hotel where you don't have a remote control for the AC unit that's in there. Just whip out your phone, connect it, and voila, you can use your phone as a controller for the AC unit. Pretty handy. So to finish this off, let's talk about the price. And this device comes at about $300, a little over $300 dollars. It's a great device for the price. Xiaomi does tend to produce really good devices for the well, great value, basically, for the money that you get to pay. And this is what I would say no exception. Now, that being said, this device is primarily catering more towards battery charging speeds and just a premium feel. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because this device is catering more towards the looks and the utility of like having fast charge, so you can plug in your device and charge it stupidly quickly. But they also produce other devices that will offer you the exact opposite. Sacrifice a little bit of the quality of how the device looks and feels and give you a faster device. So this is good, obviously, for look-wise. If you're looking for the device that is a bit more powerful, you might be interested in looking into the Poco F lineup or the X6 lineup. These will be more powerful, specifically the X6 Pro, costing a little bit more, but obviously being way faster than this. While the Poco F5 is just more of a mid-range device as well, at least the F5 standard one, which would basically be on the same footing as this one. But the F5 Pro will be, again, the higher end model, which costs about $400, if I remember correctly, while also having, I believe, if I remember correctly, was the Snapdragon processor. Let me quickly check. So F5 Pro. Yep, so it's Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. So it's going to be a faster processor than what this device has. Also, doesn't have a curved display, but in general, it's a fantastic device for more power-intensive users. For the people that want a device that isn't necessarily designed for power-intensive users and just feels more premium, this is a fantastic device. Now, with that being said, if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.